Back once again. It's the incredible man. Been waiting on this one. No.
It's gonna be a heavy topic, bro. It's gonna be a heavy topic. It's gonna be heavy, people.
Kind of, sorta. Could go there. You never know. You really never know. Might be light. Sometimes we be trying to start something and then it be, encouraging. And then but either way, man, we're gonna have a good night tonight. If anybody's out there watching, make sure y'all get to sharing. You had a long week though?
Man, week was long, man. Week was long, bro. We a lot was done though. Week was long, a lot was done. Had a great day today.
Mm-hmm.
Great weekend so far, man. And
Okay. Ain't nobody been barking up your tree lately, have they?
Man, look. I got an oak tree. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So it is all good in the hood.
You got to come up a little ways before you notice them.
That's right.
I feel you. I've been getting some googly eyes here and there, but I ain't ready. I'm still healing.
What's going on, Elena? What's going on,
everybody? Appreciate y'all. Y'all keep on coming in as the show gets started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a good conversation tonight. As y'all see, death is like divorce or is like divorce. Is that a question or is that a statement?
When it's a statement for me.
It
might be a question for somebody else.
It might be a question for me.
Okay. Well, that's gonna make this conversation that much more fruitful. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That much more amazing.
Absolutely.
Death is not an easy subject. You know what I mean?
Neither is divorce, bro.
I know. I know. We done packed two. How we gonna make this connect? Lord help us. All right. What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M.
Let's get it. Welcome to the F.I.R.M.
Oh, it's about to go down.
Set your schedule. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday Nights Live for a time that's one of a kind.
Woo-wee. There's nothing off the table, no trolling. We go from politics to religion to relationships to whether or not you like crunchy or soft tacos.
Woo! Forget about a love language. What about your love level?
Oh man, we excited for this one.
On all social media platforms.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Fellowship in a righteous manner. That's the banner.
With your hosts, Flavius and Ulysses. We rolling Eastern Standard Time.
What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M. Pressure Podcast. We just want to welcome everybody to the show. Hope y'all, you know what I'm saying, got a comfortable seat because we're going to be sitting here for a minute. You know what I mean? Turn your fan on because you might start sweating on this one. But either way, or maybe that's just me. But go on Facebook, YouTube, as it said, you know what I'm saying, and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we're going to be rolling out some stuff this year. As we've discussed, as we've talked about, hit that like button. You know what I mean? We can also be found on, are we still on TikTok, or has the government banned them already?
The government is getting ready to ban TikTok from the United States, but technically, yes. The answer is yes.
Okay, you can still get on there while time is limited. Go on there and follow us. You know what I'm saying? Also on Instagram, y'all already know. You know what I mean? We keep bringing it like we bring it. And make sure that you hit that like button. Share this video. We just getting started, so share the video. Join in the comment sections, as is customary here. You know what I mean? We want y'all to join in the conversation. Man, Ulysses, man, this is one of them situations that I think most people can relate to, but not that many people correlate. Oh, I'm using my big words tonight.
That's big.
What the subject is. Death is like divorce. And how many people these days, does it seem like, would you agree that it seems like more people can relate to others who have been through divorces?
I believe so. You know, I think, you know, as the years go by, it seems like the divorce rate just ticks up higher and higher. You know, I remember as a kid, bro, like especially when you're dealing with church folk.
Yeah, it's forbidden.
Bro, listen. At first, they were like, "You need to get married with a Christian." Why? Yeah. Because there's only a 30% divorce rate in the church. Everybody, this is like back in the 90s. Yeah, I'm telling my age a little bit. But it was like, yeah, you know, 30%, and then 10 years later, it went to 40%. Another 10 years, bro, 50%. Now, if you look at statistics. They say there's more, you have a higher rate of divorcing within the church than you do out in the world.
And you know what I mean? Shout out to all the lames that are out there that try to compete with the world. And like, oh man, we got to get our divorce rate down because the world is beating us in successful marriages. No, what that's identifying is that this is a issue that is so great, so real, so undeniably possible that is even happening in places where the people have divine help. You know, it's one thing just to have like the help of experience or the patriarchs in your family, you know, those who've been married forever and they can pass down the wisdom and the knowledge of what to do when it's successful. You know, those silent, softer men, just do whatever your wife say and life will be okay, brother. That sounds
happy,
like a
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, that sounds like a correctional. Just obey the rules and you won't be punished. That's what that sounds like. But all jokes aside, it is something that is so real that even when you have divine help, and I've heard so many people that was married, bro, that have the same faith that we have. You know, they cried out in the moment in those days. Sometimes hindsight is 20/20. Sometimes the argument or the blow up or the infidelity or the discretion is done, and then after the fact, you know, they're in their prayer closet, they crying out to God on the side of the bed, they driving to work, left your house looking normal, cried all the way to work, got you some eye drops before you walked in while you've been talking to God, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's so what's the right word I'm looking for? Something that you can it's like if we all give me a word. Somebody give me a word in the comment section. A word that
describes
go through this more often than you even want.
Say that one more time.
It's a common battle. I'll say that.
Okay.
Divorce is like a common battle. Okay. And how is the divorce rate so high. Like if God was the representative and the devil was the representative, and the devil walked in and was like, man, my divorce rate is high as I can get it. You know what I'm saying? We got at the round table with the rest of the demons, and we looking at the charts and trajectory, and we're projected in 2024. We're going to take this thing up a little higher. We got a quota. And God is over there like, my success rate, we got to figure out a way to bring it down. You know, we bleeding in so many different places. Right. We got to figure out how to get a handle on this. But it's like, sometimes it's just not that easy as wishing upon a star.
No, that's powerful, man, because you know, when you're dealing with divorce, number one, is divorce like death, right?
Oh, we're gonna get into that. Right. I just want to establish,
right?
Because we ain't all died, so no. we can't start there. but a lot of us have been divorced.
But the point that I'm making here is the level of expectation of a couple that is in church. You know, two people who come together that claim, man, you love the Lord. Well, I love the Lord too.
Me too.
You know, so that's one thing. At the very least, that should be that one thing, and they make that the focal point. They make that the focal point. We know the Lord. We love God. So therefore, therefore, you know, at the very least, this relationship, everything else, we'll just figure it out. We'll just figure. And so it leads to an expectation that it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter if I'm not healing from past traumas. It doesn't matter, because you are a believer. You are a man of God, and you are supposed to show me mercy and grace. You are a woman of God. You are a woman of faith. So you should be showing me forgiveness and grace and mercy. And
how dare you not forgive me?
What?
How dare you not be patient with me?
What? So the expectation of what we are supposed to do, despite the person, despite your partner not healing, not doing what they're supposed to do. That's why there's a level of discrepancy, as they say. You know, so, but that, people, is a whole other conversation.
Which we gonna have this year. You know what I'm saying? At some point. But while you were talking, man, you know, in relation to death, it's kind of like the best way I can articulate what it is that you just said. Because you go to church, you know, you got these checks on this box, even though church, you're going to go, and the day will come and the time will be, people forget what Jesus said this, well, you won't go to this holy temple and this holy mountain, but true worshipers worship in spirit and in truth. And we still like, well, I'm at church. And the Lord was like, that ain't no guarantee, but we got all these checks off on the block. We got all these checks off on the block. This should work. And it leads to a false sense of expectancy. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's kind of how people are about death. Man, you can meet somebody who dang near is the devil in flesh. I'm talking about just live a life. Hi from Puerto Rico. What's happening? What's going on? But you can find somebody who is living a life totally contrary to everything the Bible says. You at least have to do this. And we go to their funerals, bruh, and be like, you know, they resting in heaven. You know, Johnny went to heaven. Timmy went to heaven. Sarah went to heaven. And it's like, those of us that are really believers, we know that there's scriptures that contradict that imagination. That doesn't mean that we're going to say something in the moment. We might hold our peace, you know what I mean, in the moment and not be like, all right, this is the time to tell you right after the funeral. You know what I'm saying? We're going to the reception or whatever you do after funerals and be eating like, you didn't go, right? He ain't really, I know that's what they say on the tombstone, but he probably ain't resting in peace. He didn't live in peace. So, but it's like this false narrative that people cling to and try to call it hope. Well, I hope he made it. Yeah, but hope in something that ain't real. The Bible even says about if hope is faith, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. That means if I could hold hope, that's what faith is. If I could put it in a cup, some hope in a cup, that's faith.
Right.
It's the substance, the makeup, the ingredients, or the definition of my hope.
Right.
Something that you can't see it right now. That's why I'm articulating it. That's why I'm striving for it. But the Bible also says faith without works is dead. So hope without the works to back up that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because it takes. I mean, you can't even have faith unless you have hope.
And it doesn't activate. It ain't useful if there's no works that attribute to the hope. You know what I'm saying?
It all works together, people.
Saying that to say that a lot of people are not doing the work that actually attributes to the hope of not going through a divorce. They actually do everything it takes. And then when the divorce comes, they be surprised. How did we get here? Your works. You've been working at this divorce for a long time. I've been trying to tell you stop, but you've been working at it every day, working my nerves, working my patience, working, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
I was talking with somebody just yesterday, and and I expressed to them like, one of my favorite verses that I love to use when I was married was, it's better to sit in the corner of a rooftop than to live with a nagging wife. And
that's biblical. Take it up with God if you don't like it.
Take it up to the Lord. Take it up to the Lord. But but again, like when we're dealing with divorce,
and in this, to the contrary, in the moment when you would act on that, it's better. You try to step outside on the porch. You try to go for a ride. Where you think you go and get back here? You're abandoned, and you got to stay here. And it's like, man, even God know.
But sometimes
you need some space.
And that's the whole point, because when you're going through a divorce, and in a chat, please chime in on your experience in dealing with divorce and things of that nature, if you don't mind sharing. But and y'all, I ain't got no problem sharing whatever it is, but it's about to come out of. I don't even know what's about to come out of my mouth, but I'm going to share
hot
anyway.
Off the chest.
Hot off the chest. You know what I'm saying? But the dealing with divorce, dealing with how we got there, because I like what you said earlier. Like, how did we get here? If we love the Lord, if we go to church, if we serve in church, how did we get here? My experience, my story is perception is a killer. Perception is a killer. Why? Because you have one spouse who's all about how it looks. It doesn't.
Aesthetics.
It doesn't exactly the aesthetics. It doesn't matter what the reality is, because the reality is we're having issues.
Right.
But you're supposed to forgive me. You're supposed to have mercy on me. Like, bro, like, you preach on grace. You preach on love. How come you're not practicing it? They throw a lot of that in there. But then in the outside, it's the perception. When I was going through my divorce and all that stuff, bro, I can't tell you how many people hit me up like, it looked like y'all had the perfect marriage.
Man.
What? The perfect marriage. How did y'all get here? And I'm like, the only answer I can give is perception.
Yeah. Things ain't always what they seem to be.
It is not what it seems. So perception is a killer for certain marriages and even dealing with the church. The other big thing is what you are willing to hide.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know your spouse ain't doing right. You know you're not doing right. But you are willing to hide. Why? For somebody like me,
yeah,
I'm a protector by nature. So even if the spouse is doing wrong, I'm going to protect your image.
And you can't, as from one brother to another, I can't fault you for that. I can't knock you for that.
And it was like, but me hiding the struggle.
You feel like that might have worsened or exacerbated things?
For sure.
Why?
It did all of that stuff, man, because I wasn't holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
To the boundaries that I should have set. And I wasn't holding the spouse accountable. And
do you think that your actions hide with the intent of protecting, which I know you are, you one of them dudes, I know you got my back and a whole lot of people's back in the clutch. But do you think that by hiding it, you made room for it to continue?
I did. I did because, again, I fell into the trap of perception.
Yeah.
Because in my case, not only was I married for X amount of years and had the house with the white picket fence and the whole nine, but I was also an associate pastor. I held a title in the church. I was respected. People knew me.
Still do.
Still do. Oh Lord, that's a whole other conversation.
Go ahead.
But the big thing is that I was in a marriage protecting my ex-wife's image from everybody because she told me to. And the truth is that when you're dealing with perception, because early on in the marriage, I did stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. I'm sure y'all, I'm mature enough to understand what I'm talking about here. And so with that comes, hey, let's try to fix this.
Yeah.
And let's make sure that I do it right. Make sure that everybody is happy. And so that's where the guilt comes. That's where the shame comes. And that's where the manipulation comes. Because some people are so stuck in the victim mentality.
Yeah.
That they will use whatever they got to use to keep you there.
So let me ask you this. Do you believe that you arrived at the result, the divorce? Do you believe that you arrived there quickly and suddenly? Or was it such a surprise because it was a slow thing?
Man, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
To be honest. I had checked out from that marriage a couple of years prior.
So from the point you checked out to the point it ended, it wasn't a fast process. You said some years in the game. And I'm sure there might be some women in her circle that she's telling the same thing. I checked out. We both checked out. But the one thing that I'm pulling from the situation, because I can relate to marriage and divorce more than most on how many rounds I decided to go before I was like, you know what, let's take a break. Let's take an intermission. Time out. Time out. Time out. Let me take a break and regroup. But it was that, like death, divorce, I like what you said about it's being a slow killer. That hiding things and all that was because of the perception, the work it takes to keep the perception intact was really the slow death. And most people, man, it's tragic when people do die suddenly. It's tragic when it's like you just say hello to somebody and all of a sudden they're gone. I had a friend, man, that I as much as street dudes love to be street dudes, they'll find somebody that is kind of cut from the same cloth to be their counselor, to open up to. Because most guys in the streets is trying to play that tough guy role. They got to keep up perception. But I often find is a lot of guys find it easy to open up to me. I talked to this guy. I talked to him the day before. I talked to him earlier that day and told him what time I was going to come by his place. He lived in the same complex as me. By the time it was time for me to go to him and go visit, I'm texting. I ain't getting no text, but I ain't rushing. Dudes is dudes. You know what I mean? I don't be, hey, man, where you at, man? I called you 2-3 times, man. That's in relationships, but not in friendships. But he never answered. He never responded. So I'm like, man, I'm just going to walk over there. It took me about 5 minutes. By the time I walked over there, they had the whole complex on that side taped off with yellow tape. And I found out that between the time that we spoke and the time I walked over there, that his life was taken. His son's life was almost taken.
Wow.
And it was a sudden thing that was like shocking. You know what I mean? It's like, man, like I didn't expect that. How in the world? For most people, though, death comes slow. It could be high blood pressure over years, unchecked. It could be small strokes, unnoticed, that lead to a big one. It could be bad eating habits and dieting and stress that could lead to a heart attack later on in life. But most times, people's deaths, doctors commonly say you need to do preventative care. Don't wait till the last minute to come get your checkups every year so we can catch something as early as possible and maybe we can have a chance of combating it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's the thing about divorce, is that divorces don't happen overnight. It's a slow death. It takes a minute. Let me do him. But it's a slow death.
It is.
It's over time. It's forgiving each other. It's reoffending each other, habitually offending each other and crossing lines. It's embarrassing one another in front of loved ones and family members, stuff you can't come back from. Like, girl, if you would have just did this in the house, man, boy, if you would have just said this just to me instead of doing it at the family reunion. Now, even though we might be cool, the family don't like you now. Now this person, now I got to go talk to them. Every time I'm trying to tell them something nice about us, they like, are you sure everything's okay? It's like, it's usually by the time the divorce comes, like you said, people have checked out long before they walk out.
Yeah.
And so in correlation, let me say this so we can, because you're gonna love this one. Where this conversation goes. Y'all gonna love this one. Where what you say in the comment section? Last comment.
The comment section, Maria says it's a slow death, and it's worse when your partner does not even see it coming. That's key right there. They were confident you would never. Woo!
I know it would. just
speaking.
refuse to believe it. Ulysses always says, man, the hardest thing for us to do is just believe. And sometimes, even when you've done the work to end your love, your relationship, you still don't want to see it. You still don't want to believe it. It wasn't enough. You didn't do enough. But here's the caveat. Here's the twist in all of this. When you go through a divorce, what are some of the most irritating things after the divorce? Let's just name a couple real quick. Like after the divorce date hit, y'all moved, separated. Now you're living your life. The divorce is behind you. Think of some of the most. What are some of the things that irritate us the most? I'll tell you one. One for me is
comment section. Let us know what was your irritating aspect when it comes to after the divorce. But go ahead.
Go ahead. What was yours?
Well, Sally says for hers it was co-parenting.
Co-parenting. That's a good one.
The chat over here says,
"Oh, when they see you happy." Ooh. Oh boy, that make them an enemy, don't it? Oh no. Keep it going.
Poseidon says, having to explain what happened.
There, let's start there. Let's start there.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Sometimes that is mine, and that's why I want to start there too. Even though y'all already going, is not just what you say, having to see each other during kids' function. Ooh. Ain't that awkward, fellas? Yeah, I don't know if y'all can relate to me. You ever went to the basketball game and you know your son look up to you the biggest thing in his life, but y'all done separated, and now she's showing up with the new guy, or maybe the family members that flipped you off behind her when she was doing it to you. And you walk in and the coach shakes your hand to introduce himself, and he's like, "How you doing? Which kid do you know?" Man, I am his father. Oh, okay. Oh, awkward. I went to a pizza party one time at the skating rink, and bruh, my ex-father-in-law, bruh, he loved me, man. This man, in front of everybody, in front of the new husband, walked up and was like, "Hey, son." I said, "Hey, man. You have to make it weird, man." It was cool. New husband walked off, probably trying to, be the bigger person. I had to, awkward moments, man. But I want to go back to keep it coming. Sally said people finding and asking why. Man, don't you hate getting questioned when it made so much sense for you to do it?
I think like in my situation, when the date was official with my divorce,
yeah,
the ex went on Facebook and threw like a celebratory status.
Oh yeah,
like we're about to have a divorce party.
Oh, cold-blooded,
man. And I got the FLAVIUses of the world, and my parents, everybody was like, "Don't respond. Just
don't let it trick at you, brother.
Don't do it.
Man.
Don't do it because those who truly know the story, they know.
But do you, even though those of us that know, don't you still find yourself trying to explain what
Man,
happened? Where when all, like Sally said, when people find out, start asking why, you trying to like explain it.
you know, it's absolutely, you know, it's for me because even after the separation and divorce, like I was still trying, bro. Like I don't
Yeah.
even know, it was just a habit because I've been doing it for years to protect the image,
Mm.
right? But
Yeah.
it didn't matter to her because she was quick to throw
Mhm.
my name under the bus.
Yeah.
Not privately, we talking publicly.
Yeah.
Throw the name under the bus. Not just take my name and ride over with the bus, but put it in reverse and then back it up again. You know what I mean? So it was like there was every on my flesh, as they said, the flesh was burning. Like,
Mm.
let me just if I just retaliate and begin to tell everybody, but it pretty much just would have been, here's your shovel, here's my shovel, let's just dig a grave. And nobody, and the truth is, bro,
Yeah.
nobody cares. They love
Man,
what you they
do
love
they really?
but they don't care. They don't genuinely care
Man.
about what you're going through, but they love the drum. I mean, they're sitting there with the popcorn, like, oh, like one of the posts again because she went public with her stuff.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the stuff that she posted was, Ulysses is not taking care of his children.
Mm. Mm.
Everybody with the popcorn, like, oh, really?
He seemed to be a good dad.
At the same time, I'm getting inboxes from a whole lot of people. Hey, your wife is saying this,
Mm.
but I know you. I seen you with your children.
Yeah,
I seen
man.
how they love you. I seen how you were active with them. What's going on? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even see her post, but just know that she's just being bitter right now. Because one of her processes of the whole divorce was
Mm-hmm.
that she was shocked when I told her I was leaving.
Mm. Like a how dare you shot?
How dare
Or
you?
you don't leave me, I leave you shot?
How
Or
dare you? Like,
mm.
you cheated on me. So how dare you leave me when I stayed?
Mm.
I
Mm.
But her idea of staying was not forgiveness. It wasn't a forgiving
It was for
situation.
justice. The Batman kind. Vengeance.
It was insane. It was insane because there was no forgiveness from her. It was, let me hold you to this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Let me hold you guilty. Let me hold you. Let me hold you in shame. Let me hold you in all this stuff. So that way I can continue to manipulate you, continue to stir those emotions to keep you where I want you.
And like you said, nobody cares in the end. You know, one of the worst things that you could do when you meet a new woman is start having regular conversations about your ex. I mean, you can listen when I meet a woman and all she does is talk about this terrible dude, this nightmare of a man that she had to leave. But the conversation comes up and I realize I'm never the one who brings it up. You know, eventually you can start to think like, do you still love that person?
Mm-hmm.
Are you not over that person? Oh, no. I'm just not done healing. Well, why are we over here if this woman or this man is all you can think about when I'm supposed to be bringing you a new life and a new experience and a new happiness? But we just keep rehearsing these conversations about this dead relationship, this dead situation, this dead love, this dead union. All of those are red flags. But the worst thing that I found in a woman is that it's almost like the mood changes when I get to talking about my ex too much. It's almost like whenever she get pissed off, the new woman, she gonna bring up the fact that, yeah, I remember you told me that you used to do this with your ex, and I see what she was going through, and one little thing that links, all of a sudden everything else they said must be true. And what happens without going backwards in the conversation and moving forward, because we're at a good juncture, you bring the same death into your future. And you start experiencing the death of a relationship and the death of another relationship and the death of another relationship. Why? Because like death, y'all just said it. I can say everything that was in the comment section and I'll paraphrase, but listen to how I say like this. Co-parenting after my spouse died is hard. When I get happy and their family members that are living see me happy after they died, that's hard. Sometimes people don't want to see you move on after you was just in love with that woman. You was just in love with that man, and now you in another marriage? Golly, it's only been a year. Did you really love him? Having to explain what happened to everybody, rehearsing how your spouse died. It prevents you from healing. It prolongs the healing process because you haven't gotten over the death yet. You haven't moved past what happened. What else was said? Having to see each other during the kids' function. How about when death happens, not seeing? Because for everybody who has that awkward moment when two people come, it's even worse when the other spouse don't even make time to show up. What do you say?
Dr. Hussein in the chat room said 2 weeks before my husband asked for the divorce, he had asked me if I would marry him all over again. Wow. So talk about being in shock.
Yeah, he was delirious.
Then she goes on to say that her husband got married 2 months after.
2 months? How dare you, man? Listen, man, and that's what Chad says. It feels like you're dating them and their ex. I know it. It's the most. Even when I get to talking, because it's easy to do. Talk about somebody who you done got over, who's somebody who ain't tormenting you and stressing you out no more. You can slip into it real fast. But the point is that we're trying to make is that death is like divorce. Because after the divorce, people move on. Nobody wants to hear about the death over and over and all day long. And then listen, here's the biggest kicker. After you die, after I die, nobody can hear the story of how it happened, why it happened. When you're dead and in the ground and in the casket, whatever was up until that point is all there will ever be. You never seen a funeral happen. They put the body in the dirt. The preacher says what he says. The family lay flowers, do their traditions of all sorts. And then the ghost pops up and is like, wait a minute, y'all, wait a minute. Let me explain. Let me explain my life. Let me explain how I got here. It's not what you think. I know some things was misunderstood before it was all over, but listen, if you would just give me a second to explain, a ghost can't talk. They can't speak for their past. No. And the one thing that I notice about a lot of people who go through divorce is they have a ghostly life going forward. They are almost an image of what they used to be, trying to say that there's something different. No, I'm not a part of that. You know, the Bible says that when two come together, let no man put them asunder. It says that two become one flesh. This is the description of the union. There's a body in a good relationship, in a godly sanctioned relationship. It's one. And when you go through a divorce, it's like putting that body in the dirt and trying to live on. And most of us become echoes of our former lives. We hang around the same places we used to be. You know, we haunt the same places where we used to live. We only talk about and leave signs and marks like they do in the scary movies of a ghost. We leave marks and signs and symbols and different, we keep heirlooms and different totems and little trinkets that came from the past. And the truth is, while you're trying to live and move forward and have a new life, most people are having a terrible time having a new life because they are a ghost of their former self. And the truth is, just like a ghost trying to tell you and explain the life they was living, nobody can hear you. You just said it. Nobody really cares. They're really hoping that you move on and get into a new healthy relationship. They're really hoping that something new is ahead of you. You know how the pastors say it's going to be greater later. They're really hoping that your best days are still in front of you. And you're out here meeting people. What you say? Unfortunately, sometimes that ghost hunts us for many years. I know, but sometimes don't always be the person that points the finger. Sometimes put yourself in them shoes. Have you been able to move on successfully? Yeah, because I got a job and I'm breathing, I'm moving. Yeah, but have you really been able to move on? Really? Right. In this one area, I'm not talking about all areas of life, but when it comes to a relationship, why aren't you in a good relationship now? If you could recognize and walk away from a bad one, why are you still talking about your past relationship? Why are you having a ghost conversation in a living body?
There's reasons for that.
There are reasons, but I believe that that's the one thing that why we are anchored in this condition, why it takes some people so much longer to get past it. Because I believe that divorce is death. It is the death of a relationship. It is the death of that body that God said 2 or more joined together.
Right.
And if there's no more life in it.
There's a comment that I want to go back to.
Go for it.
From Elena that says death of a spouse and a divorce from a spouse is, and her opinion is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And healing is not the same. But healing must take place. And so
that's the common ground.
And so here's the thing, right? Because the reason why people take death and take divorce, and they kind of like everybody knows death obviously is definitely a little bit harder than
biblically.
So, but here's the thing: the shock, especially if the thing about
Ulysses, your job is to keep the topic going, not join in with the people.
But here's the thing: death is like there are people that I've talked to, bro.
Yeah.
That dealt with a parent or whatever that they knew they were dying.
Mm-hmm.
But even when the death came, even though they knew, it was still hard.
Shock. I get you.
There are people who are in marriages that they knew the marriage was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was finally flatlined, it was like,
you just said what I just.
But
you saying it
right. And so, but here's the thing. But what happens when it's a shock to the system? What happens when it's a shock to the system? So the idea that death and divorce is similar is because of the shock factor. Is because of, they're like, hey, the first thing that somebody, well, the 5 stages, right? You got denial.
Like they said in the comment section. Hey, let's renew our vows.
And then
it's over.
and then this is the stage that most people stay on, which is the anger stage.
Yeah.
I mean, they just stay angry. I mean, they're sitting there as you said earlier, like vengeful, like they trying, oh, you gonna do this to me? Well, let me destroy you as best as I can, right? And I'm not familiar with all the 5 stages, but I know depression is another one. And depression you can easily disguise depression as anger.
Yeah.
Because you're so angry at what happened. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Why am I why do I have how I'm not supposed to be raising these kids alone?
Yeah.
And there's just a whole lot of factors that goes into why somebody would be angry.
And to me, maybe y'all have experienced death one way, but your way of experiencing death is not the only way in life. I was listening to this guy, man, and his mother was like, "Why can't you be more like your daddy?" He was like, "Cause he dead, mama. Let it go. Daddy was broke. I ain't gonna never be broke like him. I'm eating lamb chops out here, mama. I ain't gonna never be like him." The reason why he expressed himself that way was because he was angry and he was bitter that his dad died, even though it wasn't his father's choice, but his dad died and he felt left behind. Children feel that way sometimes after a divorce. Depending on who's closest to the child's ears and can paint the narrative the best, sometimes they could turn that other loving spouse that they've known their whole lives, would lick their wounds, would throw a dog across the street if it tried to bite their child or something. And go ahead. What is that?
I want you to read the comments.
Go ahead, read it out.
Says,
I once went out. Oh, here she go. Here we go.
I'm trying not to
went out on a date with a man who carried a sample of his wife's ashes in his necklace. Tony Baker be doing well. That's his child. That's different. He said carried a sample of his wife's ashes around his neck. It was a beautiful necklace, but the vial had some of his wife's ashes. That's her point. He explained that he wanted her to be with him everywhere he went. It was creepy. It is creepy, and some of y'all are creepy after divorces. You know what I'm saying? I love talking to defensive people because they always try to push. They never want. The more uncomfortable you get close to them, the more they push and deflect to other people. Everything that everybody said tonight has validated the point of this subject. You have likened divorce to death, and likewise death to divorce. We might all have different perceptions of an experience. However, how are we finding such common ground if it's what is death? What is death? The absence of life. Let's just keep it basic. It is the absence of life. You had this marriage. I was married, bro. I married my high school sweetheart. You don't get love stories like these days. My kids is trying to hold on to people that they met in school that's seem to be slipping through their fingertips. They grasping at them, trying to keep them in their life. Them type of love stories don't happen that often. You meet somebody freshman year in high school, marry them, have children with them, have a life with them. That's a love story that even my mother cherished. I remember one time, man, I was just talking about going to hang out and do something on my ex-wife with other women and other people. My mom was like, I'm gonna call him. I was about to say her name. I don't want to put it out there like that. But she was like, I'm about to call your wife. I was like, Ma, you my mother. Don't forget that. Your loyalty is supposed to be over here. But it's a life. And most of us have a life, have had a life that we're not a part of no more. And the people that were around and were there for that life, they're the ones that want to know why it's not there no more. Why did this life end? How did this life end? Mm-hmm. Experience the fallout of the lack of this life. We had a life.
Yeah.
And what's the opposite of life? Death. Marriage is a life. The opposite of it in the same contract is the divorce. There's a contract to enter in and there's a contract to enter out. There's an agreement made to enter in. There's an agreement made to get out. And the truth is, most of us are talking about a life that no longer has breath in it other than when we talk about it. I said it's like a, go ahead.
Have you ever seen one of the movies where somebody's always like somebody's dead?
Yeah.
Keep doing that CPR. Like, bro, like they're gone. They're gone. But they're like, no. It's the shock factor, the denial factor, the anger factor, like all of those things, you know.
And you see it in a snapshot in those movie scenes like that.
Yeah. You know, and so but that's what's happening with some of these marriages, where it's like the marriage is over, but somebody is still trying to keep it alive. You're dealing with situations where it's like, you know, the only reason why this person is alive is because so-and-so is on life support. And the decision has to be made to pull that plug. Once you pull that plug, it's over.
Can't bring it back.
It's over. So it's you know, it's so mentally challenging, so mentally hard, because especially like an example, like I was married for 23 years. I was married for a long time.
Yeah, I never knew you single until you got single.
True. Very true.
I've never known this, man. Sometimes I'll be talking to my homegirl, you know who I'll be talking to, and she'd be like, you know, what do you think is going on with him right now? I said, to be honest, how could I know? I've never known him single. I don't know how he is. Maybe this is how he is single. Maybe these are some of the things he got to work. I've never known him single. It's a new thing.
Yeah, you know, and bro, family, when I tell you guys that Flavius has been with me through the thick and thin of the marriage life, like bro has been there, man. Like if
your marriage help my marriages. Attempted to, anyways. That's not your fault. No fault on you. You gave a great example.
But you know, the truth of the matter is, and Flavius can testify to this. When God gave me a dream that my marriage was over, it was like I told him, I said, bro, I said, but I had this dream and it was just like I was no longer married, you know, and I'm like, bro, like, is this even right? You know, because I was a pastor of a well-known church, you know, in North Carolina, and it was like the hardest part for me was to come to the realization, to go against the norm. Like you are not supposed to divorce. Especially especially as someone who has a title in the church.
Yeah, you a leader in this church. Don't you dare set that example. You stay in there. You hang in there.
And so it was a tough decision. Yeah. It was a tough decision because it was like, do I value the position, what people say, or do I value my sanity, my peace? And so when things went down, the way that it did, I spent the first 3 months like, did I make the right decision? Man. Should I go back? Should I reconcile? Should I do this? Because I'm like, I felt like I went against everything that I had been taught.
Yeah.
And then I remember one day, bro, and like my mom called, you know what I mean? And she was like, I just want you to know the Lord is fighting your battles. And she went on to explain that the Lord spoke to the ex-wife in the service and was like, hey, you and you and ULISES, you know, she didn't say the preacher didn't say my name because obviously she didn't know. But she was like, it was both of y'all's fault. She was like, but she said, the Lord told her, I hold you more responsible for the failure of the marriage because you couldn't control your tongue. You couldn't control your tongue. And then the
power of what is in there?
Power of life and death is sitting in there. And so it was like, so the Lord was telling her, like, hey, the marriage is over. There is no coming back from this. And so when I heard that, bro, that freed me in such a way that to this day, my mom probably will never know that the Lord himself was like, Ulysses, you had fault. Own up to your responsibility. Own up, be accountable for what the things that you did. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying this whole time is you did what you could. You did what you could to rectify all the wrong that you did. You did what you could. You took accountability and responsibility for the stuff that happened. Now be free.
And let me tell y'all about this freedom that I had first front row seats to. Ulysses had a dream before that too. And you may hear him talk about this or bring it up, or maybe you have in the show. But he had another dream where he was in a church and the power of God was moving, was stirred up. And his spouse at the time was having no reaction to the power of God. And then this other word came as confirmation. And the first thing Ulysses was saying was like, man, it's like God is telling me, like, stop worrying about this because he's going to show her. He's going to say it. And then one day he was like, man, and if she won't listen to him, what am I wasting my breath and time for? Why am I wrestling and she won't even hear it from him? Man, I'm done. And it's still been a journey in the process behind the scenes to get to this wonderful man that you see there, right there with that beautiful shirt that you have on that is a flag, a banner of where he is today. Firm, fellowship. I'm gonna try to get her to tweak it a little bit on the next one. I like that one too. I gotta go to the mailbox to get mine. But firm.
Shout out to Tati Rodriguez for Tati. She's in the comment section. We, again, shout out to her for blessing us.
Thank you, Tati. I just want to say that I had to call Ulysses to remind him to send me mine because I'll be in the underground, undisclosed locations, and people can't have my address and stuff. And I haven't set up my P.O. box yet. So you had to send it to him.
And still hasn't checked his mailbox yet. Okay.
That's neither here nor there. Back to the subject. I will. After the show, I'm going. I promise. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you tonight. But saying those things to say, man, is that if the voice of the Lord, if the Holy Spirit has been described as the ghost, the Holy Ghost, the breath of life, what are you spending your breath on after the death of the last life? When that thing was over and you still have the breath in your mouth, what is your new conversation? Are you discussing dead things? You just said it, man. You could feel like the death is already there. Everybody knows it. It's on life support. We're just trying to figure out when we can settle with the fact that we're going to have to pull the plug. And just like was said in the comment section, this man showed up on a date with a sample of, she said a sample, a little bit. Oh, a sample sounds too funny. I can't stay serious with it. I'll say a sample of his deceased spouse ashes.
It's not
That's what most of us are doing, but with that, it's visible. At least you could address it. It's visible. Like, hey, what's that? What's going on with that? And then they can just open up their story. Most of us have that same sample. We just ain't showing it like some people do. We're walking around with it hanging around our neck, and it's heavy. And every year is getting heavier and heavier and heavier to hold on to the dead weight that you already got rid of. But you haven't in your mouth. And it's like, you could put on a bunch of cologne. You could put on a bunch of perfume. You could get your hair done so many different ways in 2024. Makeup is advanced nowadays. Men wearing makeup nowadays, and beard pieces and hair pieces. You can make it, dress it up how you want to. But if you walk in the room, I was watching Terminator earlier. You know what I'm saying? We in the AI society right now. So anyways, I was doing a marathon, and Terminator 1 is where I started at. And there was a point in Terminator, man, where he got a hotel room. This is where he had to do surgery on his eye and his skin and stuff like that. But there was a cleaning guy, right? If you go back and watch Terminator 1, there was a cleaning guy who walked to his door and knocked on the door. And he was like, hey, buddy. There was no answer. And he's like, what, do you got a dead cat in there or something? And Terminator turned around and said something that I can't repeat. But get lost, buddy. The unclean version. But it was because the flesh that was over the skeleton was rotting. So it was like something that resembles something living is in this room. But the aroma is an aroma of decay. And I don't care how many people he can get up and then go engage, that funk traveled with him.
Right.
And there's some of us, man, that because of divorce, we are walking around smelling like we've been holding on to something that has decayed. You sit down at the table with a new woman to have a new date, and she's just like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about you. I mean, you look okay, you look good, but maybe it's your breath. Here go a mint. No, that didn't work. I'm still smelling it. What is that? You know what I'm saying? In the rap community, we say, you know what I'm saying, you smelling yourself. If you getting too egotistical, or you know what I'm saying, you say you smell me when you want somebody to understand. Y'all know the lingo. It might be outdated now, but it was in style back in the day.
Right.
Some of you Christians, some of you believers, some of you light of the world, salt of the earth, you lost your savor. You don't smell like a wonderful odor in the nose of the children of God. And if you're trying your best, if you don't smell good in the nose, then, and this is something that is a description of our Father. It runs in the family. We smelling you out here. You look wonderful. I can't really pinpoint what it is, but it's something about you that just is off-putting. And my defense mechanisms go up. I probably would have took a chance with you, but what I'm smelling is my defenses is up. I don't know. And you like, why is this person never met me, don't know me from Adam and Eve, but just is always questioning me, always doubting me, always making me explain myself? It's because they smelling something. They can't put their finger on it, but they smelling something. And I ain't gonna say it's your breath, but it might be the breath of God coming out of your mouth. Your conversation is foul.
Sheesh.
Your conversation about your past dead, your divorce, is following you around in your mouth. And it's like, if you could just get that out of your life, the divorce is like death. moving on should be like life. If you can't accept that the divorce is like death, then maybe that's why you think life is like.
Bro, can I say something, man?
Go for it.
And this is just hot off the chest. Romans chapter 7 talks about Paul was like, hey, the things that I don't want to do, I do. Things that I do, I don't.
Yeah.
But he says, who shall deliver me from this body of death?
Oh.
Who shall deliver me from the body? For those who don't know, the Roman culture was one of the ruthless cultures ever in the history of mankind.
FLAVIUS.
One of the punishments that they had was
Yeah.
that if you murdered somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you were found guilty, they will chain that dead corpse to you. To you. So when Paul said, who shall deliver me from this body of death? They knew exactly what he was talking about. The revelation is you are dealing with this dead marriage. It is chained to your back. You're dealing with the remembrance of everything that you've done. The guilt, the shame, the hurt, the victimization, you being the perpetrator. Everything is chained to your back as a reminder of why the marriage didn't work. You holding on to something, not because, and you're trying to let it go, but it is chained to your back.
And you're carrying it around with you.
You're carrying around with you. But then because we all know that Romans was a letter, right? It wasn't no chapters. Then Paul goes on to say, now therefore, there is no more condemnation for those who are in Christ. Stop holding on to the past. Stop holding on to the coulda, woulda, shouldas of why something didn't work out, how it could have worked.
It's hard, bro.
If I could have done this, then bro, there were so many conversations that I had with myself. Like, if I would have done it, if I didn't make that decision, if I would have done this, I probably would still be married. But we are holding on to this body of death for no other reason, because we don't know how to unlock the chains, break them chains, snap them, get that bolt cutter and just snap that mother bleep, 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 bleep. Oh,
man, I'll tell you something, and I probably won't ever speak about this again because I never do. I've been married 3 times. And my first marriage was, I believe, God given. And my second and my third marriage has felt like living in a graveyard with a shovel, just trying to dig my way back to the first one. I pretend that I'm healed sometimes, but the truth is it's easy to bury things. But I've been hurt for a long time, bro. Even the good man that I've been to other women was the good man that I regret not giving to her. I swear. Every mistake, I've tried to live down in my relationships after that one. It's no wonder they ended. Because I wasn't doing it for them. Even if they thought I was a good man, if it wasn't good enough for her, it wasn't good enough for me. No matter what I did. Even when I did something good, bro, my last wife didn't even have to work. And we had a whole family in this house, bro. I worked myself. My mother had to tell me I got too many gray hairs, that I was stressing, that I needed to go to Walmart or CVS and get my blood pressure checked in the little arm machine regularly because she was concerned. Even when my last wife didn't work, anytime she upset me, first thing on my mind was she would have loved this.
Mm.
You can't appreciate this because this ain't really for you. It's for a better woman than you will be. Judging people wrong, man. Just meeting people who have a hope of finding a good man and a good Christian, godly man that ain't perfect, but is God's. You can find me in the book. Trying to start a new life, and I'm presenting myself as healed, new, older, over it, better. And the whole time, man, I was lying to them women.
Wow.
My second and my third wife, they never got the real me because I was still trying to be better than the old me, and I wasn't even doing it for their appreciation. Even when they appreciated it, bro, I was like, man, I wonder if she would. And I spent almost 20 years, at least 18, living in a graveyard, more comfortable on camera than I am in person. Keeping different people at different places in my life, but keeping everybody at a distance so nobody comes close enough till I'm done working on me.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter how much I work on me, bro. I can never give it back to that woman.
Mm.
And my life has been a graveyard experience. There's a lot of death in my life, a lot of death in my dreams, a lot of death of aspirations, a lot of death of talent. I really don't appreciate things as much as I appear to because I've been trying to find, and no matter how much I dig, bro, it's like that first marriage, it's like they buried it deeper than I thought or something. You know how I say 6 feet under, bro? I done dug 12 and can't find it
Because it was strapped to your back
because I've been carrying it around this whole time
this whole time.
and it's been killing me. And every day it is harder to be around happy people. Every day it is easier for me to be bitter. It's easier for me to tell my homeboys their biggest problem is a woman or a relationship. You know what your problem is, bro? That woman. Talking to my sisters. You know what the problem is, girl. That man. You need to be single. It's the only way. You know, you can be lonely in or out of a relationship. But I have friends that are, I'm in my 40s, bro. I got friends that are still trying to catch up with me, family members that are still trying to catch up with me. And when they talk about me, because I'm never there, it's because I'm like a ghost in their lives.
Come on, man.
They remember me from, Ulysses, when the last time you saw me in physically?
2019,
And when was the last time before that, bro?
2001.
I'm a ghost in the lives of the people that I love the most. And I don't know how to get out. But that's the reason why I'm not going to dodge the pressure this year. I'm coming out. And I hope other people will too. Because I want to be firm for real. I want to be firm for real.
You about to make us all cry. Hold on.
I'm sorry, man.
No, but listen, you guys.
I'm done.
No, man, like what we have, the big thing is this.
I love y'all too.
What we are looking to get rid of has been strapped to us this whole time. We've been searching around, trying to find love in all sorts of places, trying to find peace in all other situations, trying to find joy with other people and other relationships. But we still haven't gotten rid of the dead corpse that is strapped to our body. We pretend to be healed. We want to be healed. We've made improvements in a little bit, because we made improvements in a little bit of areas. But the one thing that we cannot ignore is when we're by ourselves and have to face everything that we're dealing with, everything that we're going through. How do we get rid of the body that is strapped to our back? Paul says, there is now therefore no condemnation. It's not even, it's deeper. It's deeper than forgiving yourself. It touches into the core of the grace that God is all about. The love that is so deep that it surpasses our understanding. You want to truly heal? Do you really believe that there is now, therefore, no more condemnation? Do you want to heal? Do you truly know how much you're loved by the creator of heaven and earth? If you truly want to heal, there was one time I was going through something crazy, and the Lord showed me Psalms chapter 51. And I'm paraphrasing because this is how the Spirit gave me. Psalms 51 was talking about, if my offerings of rams and bullocks was good enough, you would have accepted that. But the only thing you wanted was my broken spirit and broken and contrite heart.
But when do we get to stop being broken, bro? I've been broken for a long time.
Have we?
I got fractures.
Have we? There was somebody that I spoke to that was so upset because God wasn't blessing them because of their obedience. And it was like, since when do we dictate what God is supposed to do? And so Psalms 51 is like, if your prayer life was good enough, if your fasting was good enough, if your 3-step process of how to was good enough, I would have accepted that. But what I wanted was your broken spirit and broken and contrite heart. And then God showed me a vision of me on an operating table, full of infections, full of scars, that was not healed properly. And God said, in order for all of this to heal, I have to reopen the wound. And the hardest thing, if you are not, I mean, and I told the Lord, I said, look, I said, whatever you're gonna do it quickly.
That's gonna be my prayer tonight.
I do it quickly. But here's the thing: the process that God took me through. He began to reopen wounds of when I was 6, 7, 8 years old.
Bruh.
Remembrance, like God.
Comes after that. We'll talk about that privately.
Private stuff that God was bringing back to my memories, and I was sharing this with somebody, and I told him this. I said, I remember there was a moment where I was 8 or 9 years old. I was supposed to go with my brother to a baseball game. He was on a baseball team. I'm his biggest supporter. And I get on that bus, and the coach says, oh, no, you can't go because I'm taking my son.
Mm.
So I couldn't go. My mom had packed lunch the whole nine, bro. She had packed. I went into the basement. We were in the military, big old housing area. I was in the basement where the laundry was, and I wasn't going to show up back to the house until my brother came back. I told myself that because I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I don't know what my mind was thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the laundry room, just eating my sandwich, crying. Because I was so disappointed, so discouraged. And guess who shows up?
Oh.
My mom.
Oh.
Doing laundry.
Oh.
And she was like, what are you doing here? And I remember just crying, like, this doesn't happen. And God brought that to my memories. And he was like, that whole picture was this. That is what the Lord said. And I'm 40 years old, 41, 42, just crying like a little baby. God said, you were the one that I left the 99 to find. And so it's a real humbling moment for us all. That the pain that we're going through, the unhealed areas that we're dealing with, God is leaving the 99 to find you. To find you where you are at. Because it is so important to him. It's so important to God that you are the healed version of everything that he's getting ready to do because of the calling that he has upon your life, bro. We cannot step out and do what God has called us to do broken. Those who are listening, you cannot do what God has called you to do broken. You have to be willing to lay down on an operating table and let the Lord reopen wounds.
Little man don't cry, brother.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought 2024 was going to kick off with a bang, and it's been kicking off with a lot of emotional nights out of nowhere. Maybe that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, and we all know, that God don't look on the outside. If that was the case, man, I'd have never cried tonight. Because I'm gonna be feeling weird about it all for the rest of the night. Why was I crying on the show? I can't get yourself together, man. Don't you ever do that again. But either way, yeah, man up. See, if you would have been wearing your shirt, you'd have been strong tonight.
If you would have walked across the street,
out there a blank canvas, and look what happened to you. But I do, and I think a lot of people want to be made whole because you can't you can fake a lot of things till you make it, but there's certain things that are closer to the heart that you just can't. And the longer you leave it unaddressed, the longer you, like myself, if anybody has been like me, the longer you are unwilling to face it, you will find yourself, like I have, slowly becoming a living ghost. And that's my life experience today. I feel like because it's been so long, secretly, because people want you to be the strong one. People want you to be the voice of reason. They want you to be the counselor. They want you to be the boss. Sometimes at work, they want you to be all the potential you could be, but not the weak part, not those parts. Mm-hmm. Don't bring that out here. You're gonna make us uncomfortable. You think my tears make you uncomfortable? What you think they doing to me? I had to call my dad tomorrow and tell him to yell at me or something. Tell me to man up. He gonna be like, for what? Don't worry about it. But the longer you wait and try to stay comfortable and you just want to be at peace and comfortable and peace of mind. And the only thing that's preventing that is the fact that there is pressure in front of you. There's some tough things in the road ahead. There's some tough things in the road to success. There's some tough things, some serious pressure when you really are ready to heal up. And I'm ready. And I hope that there are many, many other people out there that are ready also. Because we got to come out these shells, because this ain't living. This is not living. This is not life. This feels too much like death. And it's not over. Your kids still, forget about the awkward moments after the divorce. Just think about the fact that you still got the kids after the divorce. Still can get to them. Forget about the narrative that people believe about you after your divorce, and just be thankful that you have time and grace and mercy from God for God to give you a new narrative. Okay. And then at some point, I don't care. I talked about the Romans and the fact that I know God was talking to me tonight because my name is a Roman name. And you can only find people named Flavius normally in Romania. And I was born in Europe. It's just too many. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to God. I've been carrying something, and only a friend like Ulysses could call it out like that. And only through fellowshipping with him and all of you guys am I strong enough to be this vulnerable. You may see me and you may think I'll never cry. But it's only because I'm waking up every day bearing anything that would try to come out that is painful. And what I found is that in 2024, I got a great relationship with my coworkers. Some of my peers get on my nerves, but I got a great relationship with, and I'm sure I get on theirs. I got a wonderful relationship with my mom and my dad. My best friend, Ulysses, my other best friends, I only got one or two other ones that ain't blood related because my dad's my best friend and my brother Octavius too. But I got a few friends and I want to see them more. I've missed family reunions for 15 plus years, if not longer, if you ask them. And I long to be close to them. I long to see them again. But my pain won't let me get close. They might hug me and I might just start crying, and who knows what's going to happen. And we just barely talked about death and divorce today, and it's probably the first time some of y'all seen me tear up. But avoiding those things are the reason why the people in your future, the new people that God is bringing to your life, you're still telling them that you're healing. I don't knock nobody for their process, but I do know that at some point, even the strongest of us are going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of dealing with yourself in private. I'm tired of, I keep my tears, I come home and cry. I'm tired of crying in private. I'm like, Lord, all right now. Tell me what I gotta do? And according to what Ulysses says, I gotta get in that light, get on that operating table, and let him expose some of these wounds, and so I can finally get these things made whole. So I'm willing to come broken and contrite before God. He said that he won't despise it. So I'm not gonna feel no shame. You shouldn't either. Take it to God in prayer and open yourself back up to living. Or you're gonna have a tomb experience like I have been having. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. And we want you to be done with that too. And that's what being firm is all about. And that's why this is the firm fellowshipping in a righteous manner, but it's a pressure podcast. It's not just pressure for y'all. It's going to be some touchy days for us too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Show them again. But that's all, man. Listen, Ulysses, man, you got anything to say?
Listen, man.
Last words. It's time, Flavius, to shine.
It is time for Flavius to shine, and it is past some people's bedtimes. So
that old lyrics is coming out of you.
Right, yeah, right. The freestyle. But listen, you guys, we love you guys. We appreciate you. We know we went a little long tonight. We normally don't go this long, but man, it was a much needed emotional conversation tonight. We hope you guys were blessed by it as we were blessed by it tonight. Yes, guys, don't forget to like, share this video. We appreciate the comments. For those who are not subscribed on YouTube, at the F.I.R.M 365, where you can find us on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, let the people know that that we are live. If you guys were blessed by this conversation, we know that those who you are connected to will be blessed by this conversation. This one was a.
Woo, y'all helped me today. Them hands right there at the bottom coming out, that's me right there. Y'all gave me some hope today. I needed this. Woo.
So before we leave, we got Linda said that she was blessed by it. Ruth says that what I realized is that my divorce was a rebirth. Woo.
I need.
I'm a PK kid. Oh, welcome to the fold.
Welcome to the fold.
Me and Flavors are both PK kids as well. and Maria as well. She's a PK. Born and raised.
I saw y'all show. I was like, oh, but they're exposing the PKs.
But I tell you this, she said, I didn't truly know the power of God in my life until I went through divorce. That's a testimony right there. My relationship with God is totally different now. I know what He's brought me through. I grew up knowing of the Lord, but I didn't truly know Him. Woo, Jesus.
Man.
Sounds like we might have to have you on the show, Ruth. Until I went through a divorce. It's not easy, but I thank God for carrying me through it. He's got us all. I'm trusting in the process, and thank you for sharing.
Yes, sir.
But listen, you guys, this sounds like this has the potential to be a 3 or 4 hour conversation, and we just can't do that. So
listen, hey, Ulysses, when we set the show, he was like, "Man, what it sound like we going to a funeral service?" I didn't know it was gonna be mine. Thank y'all for helping me lay me to rest so that I can live. I'm looking forward to new experiences, new joys, new happiness, new friendships. Keep coming back, you guys. The circles that are being built. Ulysses bringing me along the way. Don't think that I'm bringing him. Y'all see the connections that he made. You know what I'm saying? He's anointed at a crossroads. He represents that. If you meet him, it's time for you to change course. That's what it's been, and that's why he can't get rid of me. But God's been slowly showing me through him and his friendship and through his heart that there's a reason to hold on to hope. And that reason is righteous fellowship. No matter what we go through, the conversation always goes back to the word of God. It always goes back to the wisdom of God. And I love that about him. And I love that about y'all too. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to let y'all go. Be back next week. You know what I'm saying? I'm off Wednesday. I don't know. We might have a impromptu Wednesday. I don't know. But
let's do it. Let's do it.
I took a day off. You know what I'm saying? So we might pop in here midweek. Either way, we're going to be back next week, Saturday, at a undisclosed time, at the same place, live. Y'all be there. In the meantime, keep growing, keep pushing, keep hope alive. And that's not just a cliche saying. That's a directive from the Lord for those of us in the land of the living. Love y'all. What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M.
Let's get it. Welcome to the F.I.R.M.
Oh, it's about to go down.
Set your schedule. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday nights live for a time that's one of a kind.
Woo-wee. There's nothing off the table. No trolling. We go from politics to religion to relationships to whether or not you like crunchy or soft tacos.
Woo! Forget about a love language. What about your love level?
Oh man, we excited for this one.
On all social media platforms.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Fellowship in a righteous manner. That's the banner.
With your hosts, Flavius and Ulysses. We rolling Eastern Standard Time.